Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is Sir Cowdog, and with the upcoming Return to Drangleic event, I figured it would be a good time to get a no-death challenge for Scholar of the First Sin lined right up. There's going to be a lot of new players, a lot of returning players, maybe looking for information on where things are, how to do things, so on and so forth. So I figured I would apply my moderate levels of experience with Dark Souls 2 to that end. So I'm going to make a series of videos here. This is going to be a primarily a melee focused build intended for beginners or returning players. There's not going to be any like crazy advanced builds or anything. This is going to be pretty straightforward. I'm going to spend a fair amount of time going over areas and explaining what it is I'm doing and why. There is going to be a pretty normal progression through the game. Don't expect any fancy speedrunner tricks or anything like that. Uh, the game is completely unmodded. This is whatever the most up-to-date version of Scholar of the First Sin is on Steam. And as you can see right here, I'm going to start with the swordsman. It's simply my opinion that the swordsman is the best starting class. Completely 100% personal preference. You can play with that whichever class you prefer. This is just how I'm going to do it. Also, Petrified Something I think is probably the best starting item since it's one of the most rare items you can get. It's either that or the Bonfire Ascetic, although those can be farmed later on. If you're a new player, you may want to choose a life ring or possibly healing wares. All of that comes in handy, but Petrified Something is my go-to. So, character creation, which is going to be the rest of this video, and you can find this basic set of sliders on its own video on the top of the playlist. Otherwise, you can feel free to skip to the next video since that is going to be me going through the actual gameplay. The rest of this is just going to be me screwing with sliders. If you do want to copy, feel free to stick around. Otherwise, that's going to do it. Now, I will say that out of all of the character creators in Dark Souls games, I feel like the Dark Souls 2 character creator is probably the best. You can actually make a character that looks pretty decent in my opinion. However, all of the character creators in Dark Souls games are pretty janky. They are very difficult to use, even though they do have a lot of sliders to allow for extreme levels of customization. It is very, very, very easy to end up with a extremely odd looking character. And in fact, there are going to be many points at which during this process my character is going to look kind of funny like that. But bear with me, it will eventually end up looking pretty good, at least in my opinion. Um, but I know that the common practice is to basically hit random a bunch of times and end up with a very, very odd looking character. Anything from Shrek to just complete like Fallout mutant ghoul type characters. So I'll leave it up to you to decide which one of these you want to play with. Okay, let's see here. Jaw needs a little adjustment. Shape, facial width. So someone on one of my YouTube videos for face sliders had actually said that it doesn't matter what order you go in. I had always assumed that you had to do things in the same order that I did in order to end up with the same type of face, but that person said that it is actually very possible to just do the face sliders in whatever order you want, and you should end up doing pretty well. So keep that in mind if you decide to copy these sliders. You just have to apparently just do all of them in the correct spots. Doesn't matter what order you do it in. I haven't tried it myself. Usually what I do is kind of go back and forth across a bunch of different sliders until I feel that I've got it right. Usually takes a lot of tweaking and messing around with before I feel that it's good. Which is why I do recommend that you skip ahead if you're not interested in watching me nitpick individual face sliders. You have been warned. It's actually coming together pretty fast here. Alright. Already messed with that one. Almost done here. Feel like I'm missing something. Can't put my finger on it though. Alright, I think that's probably close enough. finishing touches. Drop this tattoo, and that should be good to go. Now you can do some pretty interesting stuff with the tattoo. I recommend playing around with it a lot. Usually the most interesting tattoos that I've seen, whoops, too high. Some of the most interesting customized faces I've seen have had tattoos that have been turned up very, very large, and then also had the size and position manipulated like I just did to create this kind of flame, black flame looking tattoo. Things like that you can get really, really creative with. Alright, let's turn the hair back. Not exactly perfect, but hang on, I gotta fix this nose, it's bothering me. It's a little bit better. Yeah, close enough. I'm not going to spend any more time on it. Alright, here we go. Now, I do one final check when I'm creating faces because I'm kind of OCD like that. Go over here in the wall where the light's pretty good. Yeah, pretty good actually. Not too bad. Okay, so that's going to do it for this video. The next one is going to be the actual start of gameplay. So I will see you guys in that one. Until then, peace.